So the spread of unverified information on the internet is something like a spread of a pandemic. And I think that the internet is a very fertile soil for this kind of dangerous virus to grow. And of course, we know now that the Russian invasion to Ukraine is a real example, good example of this. The Russian misinformation started well before the actual war in February 2022, since basically 2014. I think that after 1 year, more than a year, we have also to ask ourselves how the whole world of information works, because I think you still today can find people who don't believe the reality, who don't believe to what's happening, and don't call spade a spade. So I think we really have to understand what is the virus, how does it work, how do we get the vaccine for this. So we are here today to talk with a specialist on this very important topic. Neighbor here, the Associate Professor Dr. Nguyễn Phương Mai. She's a researcher in intercultural management and applied neuroscience. Disconnecting from the internet and then, try to find yourself, your own space, I think where we are here, it's a very natural place. It looks like a natural way to try to disconnect for the internet, to disconnect from a reality which sometimes we find which is not true, which is not real.
I like your comparison of fake news and conspiracies with the physical pandemic. Fake news and conspiracies can multiply by millions and infecting the rest of the world. And then you don't know that you are infected by fake news and conspiracies.
And now the worrying thing is exactly sometimes you don't know that maybe you've been infected and you receive information that you believe they are true. And you share it with your friends and you say, well, look what is happening here, and you don't realize that it's not true. It's really something you don't know how to deal with that, because how to imagine, in particular, I think social media particularly fertile ground for this, I think on Facebook.
I totally agree with you. During my study in applied neuroscience, I learned that our brain is an excellent machine in recognizing patterns. We want to make sense of this world, which is so complicated, which is so much information, and the job of the brain is to simplify that world, to give us an answer that is easy to digest. And that is so important to understand why fake news and conspiracy tap into the psychology of so many people and what is really behind that. The second thing I would like to share with you and to discuss with you is the social need that humans are herd animals, right? We need our community to survive, we need our community to blossom and to progress. And then conspiracies and fake news kind of create some sort of safe havens, some islands, some oases for people with a certain ideas to find their own community, no matter how wrong or right. The problem is because we tend to trust our own community. We trust the information from that community, and if we isolated ourselves in those communities, then those information becomes the only kind of information that we receive. So social media kind of builds that trust. And that's the reason why we do not like social media. If you ask people, do you trust social media? People say no. But if you ask the second question, do you get information from social media? They say yes. Because in the social media, they have their own communities, they have their friends, they have the people that they trust. So we have this kind of dilemma, a paradox, that we don't trust social media, but at the same time, we still cling to it.
Think about the future now. We're talking about artificial intelligence, ChatGPT. What's the future? What's going to happen? Because again, I have a problem to understand this. Because it's become more and more difficult to interact with someone. We don't know if he's real or maybe he's a bot.
It seems like it's out of control, but we are trying to be reflective. When you're trying to raise the level of education from a very low level, from children. Now in Finland, for example, I know that in K-12 has been taught of how to recognize fake news, of how to verify news to see if it's correct or not, of how to ask for opinion from experts, of how to make sure that what they read is actually coming from reliable news channels. So I think it's really important that we start there. Of course, it's a long way to go, but at least we start somewhere.
Starting up.
I need to have my phone to check that.
No, we will not.
That's our heart talking. I hope not. I hope not. That I know.
That you know.
That I know. I've searched about that. Believe me.
And this is.
I've read about it. I've researched about it. I have information in
So you're sure.
to back up.
Very good.
Have you been a victim of fake news before?
Yeah, sometimes. Oh, everybody in the world. At the end, you are supposed to send some money just to be sure that a huge heritage, I don't know, whatever, inheritance. So, I mean, it happens. I think it's something that is happening to everybody, and it's dangerous, or happening also to old people also.
And most of the time, victims of fake news and conspiracies are social media users. I also often tell my students that if you are looking at or reading something on social media, there are a few steps that you want to do. So first, pause for just to check on with your emotion. And second, you may want to glance through the comment section, because there's surely someone saying, hey, I have this piece of information I want to share. That's a great way to fact check. And then you can do a quick search on the internet to see if the information is correct or not. The more important thing is to decide what to do. And I strongly encourage to report. If we take the responsibility in the impact that we have for the society at large, we need to do something so you can report it, right? And if you're not sure, you're still in doubt that it is correct or not, then don't share. I mean, sharing is a very dangerous action. You may like, but sharing has much more impact.
Great. Thank you so much. So this information is a threat, and if the authorities, people, and press agencies don't realize that this information is not true, it's a problem. They spread, and this is really too late. So I hope that you enjoy the Filter Your Internet meeting today, preventing the spread of a pandemic of disinformation. I think that it brought you some interesting news, and please let us know your thoughts, and we are ready for a Q&A session. Thank you so much.